Hello, welcome to Productions MJC. I don't normally do this, and as a general rule I make my own stuff, but this video by MultiTomTom is so egregious, so horribly wrong, I can't stand it. I'm a ham radio operator. I have to say something on this. This is by far the nuttiest thing I've ever seen, and stay tuned to the end because I'm going to let you know how MultiTomTom responded while I was posting comments on another video of his. But let's take a look at this thing. This is a nightmare. I'm no expert on GPS, but I can tell you what, this guy gets everything so horribly wrong. And I love what he says right at the very first. Listen to this.
This is an educational video.
And let me tell you, it is an educational video into how absolutely demonstratively ignorant this person is. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, we are educated to the maximum on how much this person does not know. For the average flat earth believer, I've kind of gotten a little softer heart, and I've stopped criticizing them. But this person's a video maker, so they should know what they're talking about, or at least give it a good try. Do something for us. At least include better graphics so you can see what you're talking about. Or, be entertaining. Make those visuals move. Do something with them. Just don't sit there with a stagnant, crappy, nondescript image. Give us something to focus on. Help us understand how it actually works. But of course I say that tongue-in-cheek because you demonstrate totally that you don't understand how it works, because you go on and on about, well, let me let you say it in your own words, and then let me get on it and tear it apart.
This is a British Telecom exchange.
And now, with no idea of how it works, he's going to tell us how it works, of course.
Notice those radio masts on top of the roof?
He, of course, is referring to the antennas there, the vertical multi-phase array, transmit and receive antennas. Now, how he describes them is really amateuristic. He has no clue. I'm a ham radio operator, so I know what they are, but here he goes.
Anyway, the point is that those masts are sending radio waves across the airwaves.
Did you catch that? Sending radio waves across the airwaves. The Oxford English Dictionary says that airwaves are the radio frequencies used for broadcasting. He has it in his mind that the BBC or whatever broadcasts from the telephone building.
It's the same principle as receiving the news and music on your transistor radio.
Nope.
Don't forget, these radio waves have different frequencies.
This particular setup may indeed have different frequencies, one for sending, one for receiving.
For example, on your transistor radio, you can physically change frequency by simply turning a knob.
However, this setup is probably not like that. It's very specific. Probably an inter-office microwave communications trunk line linking buildings together.
The frequencies we currently have on our radios are FM.
And here he makes the classic mistake of thinking that a certain frequency band is either directly proportional or correlates some way in the modulation scheme of the particular radio wave, which is not the case. But then listen to this.
Which stands for frequency modulator.
Modulation. Modulation, not modulator.
VHF, which is very high frequency, and SW, which is short wave.
Or as a ham radio person would call it, HF band. There's ELF, LF, HF, VHF, UHF, microwave. But let's get back to him going off track. And here he goes.
The difference of these frequencies are the range.
Nope.
It covers. For example, FM covers a short distance.
Nope. Nothing to do with the modulation type.
And the quality is much better.
Because of the modulation type.
VHF, possibly countrywide.
Not correct, because your VHF TV towers have retransmitters.
And for worldwide, or for the globe, the spinning globe, basketball Earth, it's the shortwave.
Please read any article about how radio waves propagate. He then talks about how your mobile phone device will transmit and receive, not even realizing that those antennas there transmit and receive. Next, he turns to telling us how cell towers work. He claims he knows why cell towers are named the way they are and goes on and on about the map, and then he finally says,
when you're listening to your transistor radio and you move around the house, for example, if you move from your living room or to your bedroom where the signal is weak, you get crackling noise on your radio. That means the signal is very low. Same principle works with mobile phones and the GPS system.
Wrong. They aren't AM.
Whenever you move, you either move towards a high frequency range or low frequency range, which is indicated by the signal bars on top of your device.
Nope, and there is no way I'm going to let that one go by. Not happening. When you go from a high frequency to a low frequency on the same device, you're changing channels. You're getting a different radio station. Totally incompetent, of course, but let's move on.
Okay, now let's get into the nuts and bolts of the GPS system.
Oh, right.
Now, children, you might not know this, but in the old days, they only had maps, printed maps for navigation.
And of course, he goes on a long monologue about maps, trying to sound intellectual, informational, how maps are printed. They're printed to scale, and this is how you use a scale, and he goes on and on and on. So, and it's all just setting it up that, hey, it's a flat map, it's a flat Earth. But I digress. Let's get into the rest of it with more unrelated stuff like...
So, when you turn on your mobile phone or a GPS device, it's not magic that connects you to the internet.
He then rambles on about the software and protocols on your mobile phone and attempts to set it up that you don't actually need a satellite in the sky, because it's going to figure it all out on its own because of the software and the protocols built into your phone. He's just trying to sound all informed and sophisticated and knowledgeable about what he's doing. He does make some minor mistakes, and I would have to look at his other video to see if he did claim in that one that GPS was from ground-based towers, that they use cell towers. He eventually did tell me in a chat that GPS is ground-based, it just comes from cell towers. So I pointed out that they work on different frequencies, the cell phones and the GPS. I pointed this out and many more things, and his reply was capitulation. He knew what I had said was absolutely true and absolutely irrefutable, and he knew it. I didn't even bring up the fact that some phones don't have the GPS receiver chip, and his whole premise is, hey, if it figures out how to do so many complicated things, then GPS is no problem.
So you don't really need flying spaceships constantly going around in circles over this spinning basketball Earth.
Which, of course, is an assertion without any reasoning, without any evidence. He's just saying that's the way it is.
Children, I'm sorry. I'm the one who brings you bad news, to be the bearer of bad news.
Well, guess what, child? I am not sorry to be the bearer of bad news. GPS is not ground-based, because if you go under an underpass, if you go into an above-ground parking garage that's open and you can see the cell towers, GPS still doesn't work. AM/FM radio works. Your cell phone works to take and make calls as well as send and receive texts. Everything ground-based works, but in here GPS won't work because it's not ground-based. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. This has been Productions MJC.